very, very nearly about sailing April. I'm underneath a piece of wire here, telegraph wire, and there's a bird. Oh, it's gone. I thought it was about to get pooed on. I'd have got 250 quid on from that, wouldn't I? Where was I? Very nearly about sailing. April 2023. The thing that I was making last month, I've now finished. I've literally just, the tools are still out here. I've finished it, I've given it a test, and it does work. I'm going to put this video out now so you can see that. I am going to finesse it a bit, in as much as, because it was such a shoddy piece of woodwork, I'm going to kind of sand it down a little bit and paint it, and you probably wouldn't know any difference. It does work. You still don't know what it is. I'd have put a thing on the thumbnail, so, and you could have seen that. But although it's nothing to do with sailing, it's all to do with physics, and lots of people were right when they talked about levers and they talked about moments of inertia and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it is to do with managing something that you wouldn't be able to do just using your muscles, something very, very, very heavy indeed. But anyway, enough of that waffle about me. I can't remember what I videoed, but I videoed the bits to get it to here. That's all this one's going to be. So have a look at this. By the way, if you want to make one of these, it's down to you. I do give a shout out to the person who actually designed this, because I didn't design it myself. But anyway, let's just get on with it, shall we? Right, here is something you will have never seen on this channel before. I know it's in your toy one, but it's the only one I've got. I am going to use a set square. It doesn't matter if this is 100% joined up, although I will get it a bit closer than that. Because I'm going to epoxy it, and epoxy fills a multitude of sins. But I do want that to be at a right angle. If I get this at the right level, you can see there's a much bigger gap here than there is here, but it is exactly at 90 degrees. So I am using my epoxy to cover up a lack of skill. When I epoxy that, that'll be absolutely fine. And what I'm thinking of doing, because this is such a mess, in fact, yeah, I will do this. I'm going to give the whole thing a coat of paint at the end, and if you weren't watching this, you wouldn't know, would you? Well, you would, because it's me, but you know what I mean. Right, so that's all clamped up very nicely. I put an extra piece of wood on the outside to kind of keep it straight, as you can see. Well, you probably can't see, because I think it's probably quite unclear what it is. So I will get the other one done. That went smoother than I thought. All nice and square. It's a lot easier with a set square. I'm going to order myself a proper one. Get the other one done, and then go to the bit that holds it in the middle, and then it'll have, you know, the rough shape will be there. Yep. So that's fine.
And then there's your weird shelvy unit for all the like cups and plates.
Oh no, that can stay there because I'm going to use that as a pattern to make something else.
Oh. And then after that, nothing else is varnished.
Okay.
I was slightly surprised. I thought you would have done more varnishing.
Well, part of the reason that I'm doing this is, do you want chocolate or not?
Yeah?
Yeah, well,
I also
just
want
do
to be
your
mean
job.
to you.
What?
I also want to be mean to you. Can I
Okay.
not do both?
You're in the dark, can't see you. This is not going on the video. You need to get out into the light.
Can you play the Lion King music?
No, because I'll get a copyright strike.
And blinking step into the sun.
Lucy's back earning some chocolate. What we're doing is we're putting the varnished stuff
So my shoe's not on the floor.
back up into the boat. Actually, that's going to need a bit of a dust down as well, isn't it? You
Yeah.
can have a bit of a dust after you've done it. So Lucy's going to put some of the bits and pieces back in the boat because it'll just be a bit more homely. And then she's going to tidy out the cabin because I'm useless at
Yeah.
that. And meanwhile, I'm going to finish this thing. There's dust everywhere because I had to cut some of the wood because it was raining inside.
Wait, let me.
No.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's really hard to do
So
it
if we have
wide.
the CSI crime scene, we'll never know who did that. In fact, you've written Lucy on it. That could be a red herring.
That's
couldn't
quite
it?
good for upside down.
Go and put it up in the boat.
No, I need to wipe it down first.
Oh. This is very, very odd. Right, so Lucy is actually demonstrating that she can walk up and down in the container. I forgot to do it before, but this has turned out to be a sort of an annual tradition, hasn't it?
Sounds a bit.
And let me just turn it around this way. Gluing up the final bit of the mystery object. And that's it. You get your chocolate and stuff's back in the boat, and it's now in a state where I can start pushing things, because we have another secret project coming up soon, which again is, yeah, you don't know what it is.
Oh.
It's got nothing to do with boats.
Is it a puppy?
Well, nuts. No, yeah, I'm going to keep I'm going to start a puppy farm in here, aren't I? That's the sort of thing I do. Good grief, right. Okay, say goodbye to everybody, Lucy. You see them next time.
See you next time with my puppy.
Right, the last bit of actual construction work to do is I need to fix this sort of bracket, shelvy bracket type thing in here so it's recessed. So I've already recessed it using a chisel on this bit, but I'm going to use a router to do this bit, because what I thought is actually before I kind of finesse it, I need to do a test, because I'm doing this not long after the was it called SpaceX, Rocket X, Big Rocket or something, Elon Musk's thing, had a RUD, which is a rapid unscheduled disassembly, and it just occurred to me, and that was deliberate, you know, because it's spinning around, so they pressed a button and had a rapid unscheduled disassembly. And I'm thinking this could easily have the same, so thanks Elon for the tip. I am going to get this together, have a test tomorrow, which I'll show, and then I'm going to do the finessing and put it back together, because if it turns out to be a pile of tinder wood, there's no point in painting it and making it look nice. So anyway, let's go on to do the routing. I always say that wrong. It's routing for this. And that fits in there quite nicely, as you can see. Well, nice enough. Good enough for government work, as Mads would say. Yeah, no, that's fine. Absolutely fine with that. So let's epoxy this together. Yeah, I'm going to epoxy it. And let's take this thing out for a test drive. Oh, I've given a game away. Damn it. Right, so here it is. This is all glued up. These are those things. Just going to take the clamps off. This was epoxied overnight, so there it is. What do you think it is? Boat, rocket. And why did I need all the hinges and so on? Well, it's basically to make it more portable, and it is a big hunk of stuff, but let's show you how it folds down. So with the final version of this shelvy type thing, this folds down, and I'm going to put some latching mechanism. At the moment, I've just put some screws in to hold it in place. So these are, I don't know if you can see that, these are quite long screws, and I might just replace those with coach bolts, but ideally it would be nice if I could just latch it and unlatch it. It's literally just to keep the two side bits from moving. So having taken the screws out, that now folds down there. The shorter one, the one that was on the shorter thing, and then fold in. That can then fold in. And whatever it is, it's now a portable version. Don't get me wrong, it is still really, really heavy. But at least you can sort of manhandle it and get it into the house. So, I mean, I didn't have to do all this business, but it's quite nice and it actually works quite well. And I'm quite surprised. So let's get it in the house and let's give it a trial run. So, last few minutes for guessing. Will it take off? Right, so this is what it's for. This is a project I've been working on for a little while, and it's going to come out as a sequence of videos. It's got nothing to do about sailing, but everything to do about DIY and restoration. And I'll tell you three things about it. First of all, it's a piano. This is the back of it. Secondly, it's 130 years old. Thirdly, it cost me £50. And fourthly, it's a German classic that you probably haven't heard of. Sorry, that's four things. The four things, you know what I mean, Monty Python joke. So, there's a certain number of jobs that I need to do with this tipped over on its back. And these are heavy. There is a massive, great big metal frame. We'll have a quick look at that. And this is a piano tipper. But I've been fooling you a bit because it's the wrong way up. Lots of people guessed, quite correctly, that it was sort of built on a fulcrum principle, where these round bits are to help tip. So what I'm hoping is when I tip this backwards, obviously the full weight will then be on the roundy bits with the strongest bits, but the centre of gravity means that I'm never having to put that much effort in. All of the mass energy from the piano is downwards. And I copied this from a design from Stefan Lang from, oh crikey, what's he called? Lang Pianos. I'll put a link to the specific thing. He made a much prettier, much nicer looking one. And this could go one of two ways, and now I'm procrastinating because I'm a little bit worried about the next bit. So I am very worried about this, in all seriousness. I think the trick from what I've seen is that you need to get the first bit over with quite quickly to get the weight onto the curvy bit, because obviously you're tipping it over and sort of up at the same time. So kind of rocking it, and you can see that after the first initial brave bit, there's almost no effort at all holding it up. That's all physics. And then can I slowly lower it, because it's still on the curvy bit. So those of you who understand physics will know what's going on here. And that's so balanced. There's literally, look, I don't know if you can see that, there's two fingers holding that up. The wonders of physics. And I can feel the weight taking over a bit more now. A bit more now. And there we are. There is a piano on its back. That's solid, that's not going to accidentally tip back the other way. And it didn't fall to pieces. So yay! That's Elon Musk 0, me 1. Let's have a quick look at what this looks like. So there you can see it. It's like sort of sitting on a table thing. All of that shelf thing was doing is literally to hold these the right distance. And those little screws I put in, there's no weight on those at all. This is at a nice height. So should I need to, one of the things I need to do is to do some work on each of these tuning pins, which means that they have to be in this position. That is a massively heavy metal frame. I'm not going to show you what the make is yet. You have to wait for the videos to come out. I didn't bother to take the keys out. These all need to be refurbished. I've done a little bit of work on them. And then more frame, more strings. One of the early things I want to do is take these bass strings off, the copper ones, because these are original, these are about 130 years old, and try out the soda blasting. So there's various soda blasting projects. You can take a string out without tipping the piano on its back, but not easy. So there you go. And it's all nicely supported. So I'm very pleased with that. So the first thing that I need to do is to get bigger ones of these. These do not roll particularly well. Actually, they're in slightly better condition than I thought they were. Maybe I can refurbish them. Maybe I don't need to replace them. It'd be nice if they were original. Let me just see if I can refurbish those. Don't know. Yeah, it would be nice to actually keep the original ones. Let's polish those up. And obviously you can't take the wheels off without the piano on its back. So there you go. Mystery piano on its back. That's what it was. And these things are literally just to hook under here. Right, so one of the things I have noticed, and I didn't realise this because I thought that the underneath it was flat, I didn't really look at that carefully enough, is that this tine is hooking onto the edge of this plate, which is kind of separate. So what I'm going to do is cut a little piece to fit the other side of the tine. I'll show you that. The tine, is that what you call them? I don't know, I think it's called tine. So that it will kind of lift that up so the thing actually is flat, but that's just a specific. So if you are doing this with your own piano and you kill yourself, not my fault, your fault for doing what I showed you how to do. And that will spread the load out an awful lot better, because that's really just on the edge there. So a bit of a whoopsie from me, but easily rectified. So yet another instance where I've forgotten to switch the microphone. So what I'm saying is I'm actually going to cut these tines off a little bit, because they are too long, but at the same time what I've done is I've made these sort of wooden things that fit over them quite nicely, and just fill that little gap. Not sure if that's totally necessary when I do cut the tines off, but anyway, that's what I did. The initial bit is getting the inertia, but you can use this as a bit of a lever, I think. So 1, 2, 3. That's the heavy bit. Up to there, it's not exactly heavy. It's certainly not as heavy as a piano. And that bit's fine. Yeah, that worked. That seems to do the job. I won't video it, but on the one side I've cut it so that the tine is just meeting up with that bottom bit, and on the other side there's about a couple of millimetres gap. So there we go. Oh, you didn't see it being lowered last time, did you? Again, I'll do it from this side. That doesn't really matter. This bit is reasonably heavy. I was wondering that it was going to be overbalanced, but you do need to give it a little bit of oomph on this side. That's about midway, and then you can add weight pushing down this way, obviously, to stop it from going back too quickly. I can feel the weight coming up now, and it's just that last little bit that's fairly tough. But anyway, there we go. The piano lifter Mark 1. Got Doug. This piano stool is even older than the piano, by the way. So I'm going to leave it at that for this month. What I'm going to do with this is to strengthen it up, mainly to strengthen it up so it doesn't fall to pieces whilst I'm folding and unfolding it. Perhaps put some coach bolts in, that seems just as easy as putting some sort of locking mechanism in. And sand it all down, and I'm going to paint it. So the next time you see this will be in however many months' time, I don't know, when I've actually finished sorting this out. No, he's wrong, as he usually is. The next time you're going to see this is right now, because I finished painting it today. I've just done a grey coat of undercoat primer, which is fine. It looks so much better. Like this is, oh dear, this is a terrible secret, isn't it? That you can hide up all these epoxy joints and things and make something quite nice. I've also actually done some epoxy here and put some of the epoxy wood filler to rough it up, and I kind of scrunched it up with stippled it with a paintbrush. Because I wanted this to be a bit rough, because I was finding this was slipping on the carpet a little bit. I am going to cut the tines off, which I haven't done yet, and I'm very, very happy with it. One of the things you might say is, why did you do this? Can't you buy them or hire them? Well, you probably can. I mean, you could certainly buy them. I haven't seen any for sale in the UK, but in the States, I know that Howard Piano Industries do a sort of steel one. That's for about $780. I've seen different designs, some of them which fold up very small, so you can put them in the back of a car, which are sort of $1,000, and this was about £100 worth of wood. So it makes sense, and as I say, I'll put the link below to Stefan Lang and Piano Lang, his website. It is in German, by the way, but he gives a lovely CAD illustration of this, and I just modified it a little bit based on the sizes of wood that I had and so on. Yeah, and I've got this piano to do. There is another one which I won't cover in videos, which is just a favour for a friend that I'm going to do. And yeah, let's get back to him, who has no idea of just how beautiful this thing now looks. And if I'd have just shown you this, I could have said, look, this is the sort of DIY that I'm capable of, but you wouldn't have believed that, would you? Anyway, back to him in the present. Because I'm not going to release any videos on doing the piano until it's actually finished. I'll do a before and an after video first, and then if you're interested in seeing it. But I would say there's lots of principles in doing this that are very similar to sailing, like moment of inertia, and the way that physics can work in our favour or against us. Because if you don't understand the basics of how a sailboat works, which I was surprised at, they're basically pulled along by physics, and how you can get an America's Cup boat that sails sort of 4 times as fast as the wind is blowing. Bang! It's all physics, and find yourself a good YouTube channel or thing, read it, because it's fascinating and it will help you. But I'm pleased with that. It worked. It's not pretty, but when it's painted up, it won't look as ugly as it does now. Right, have yourself a good one, and I shall see you in May. Crikey, May, can't believe it.